Yo, yeah, ZBM, you know what's going on, no bending. You ever sit down, man, we want to discuss a few topics. First we want to discuss some mental health conversation. I was talking to a friend and, that was a conversation that was requested. So, first I want to say, as far as mental health go, uh, it is it is something important. Uh, you know, ZBM takes it serious, looks at it as a serious topic, a serious reality, a serious thing that's kind of going on in society itself. Uh, I recently seen something about suicide with athletes and stuff like that. Uh, based around like mental health. So yeah, I think it definitely has an impact, mental health. So let's go into details of, personal experiences of mental health. Personally, I've had an extensive relationship with mental health. I've had my ups and downs. I've had my shortcomings. When I was coming up as an adolescent, more so as like grade school and stuff like that. Uh, my mental health was still shifting, and for the younger adults, younger teens, for the adolescent, the children and stuff like that. I know it can be tough. For me, it was I say around in between the ages of like 5 and maybe like 10. You know what I'm saying? Within those 5 years, it was 5 to 10. Yeah, trying to figure it out. And the mental health state for me in between the age of 5 and 10 was more so based. It was like on one end, it was aggression, overly aggressive, and one hand it was a mixture of confusion and aggression. So I would say aggression, confusion, and then I would say low self-esteem was the last one. That was like the last phase of the age bracket of 5 and 10 for me. It was started at like overly aggressive and confused, not understanding a lot of things. So my mental health was being affected by it and whatnot. So I would say like that, and then towards the end in that 5 to 10 age bracket, it was more so along the lines of, like I said, self-esteem. So the the important factor to analyze is where those things come from. For me, those things were kind of coming from, again, the environment, coming from, uh, you know, experiences and, things of that nature. For instance, one thing that contributed to, me having some rough times or some hurdles with my mental health was, you know, I had a family member that was he was like a veteran in the army or something like that, and he came back and he never was like the same again. So just to see the effects, from his time, serving in the military and whatnot, that was kind of like that was kind of real. It was kind of raw for a 6, 7 year old or something like that. Somebody that kind of lost their mental due to the war. You know, kind of went through like physical trauma due to the war. If I'm not mistaken, he was injured in the war, injured in, his time that he served with the military. So when he came home, he never was like the same. And, as I grew up, I was able to be around him for quite a while. And, like I said, the drugs, the drug addiction was a part of it. So witnessing that, seeing, that, and again, his physical, physical trauma and his mental trauma, like just was, it was very it was very, very much contributing to the anxiety that I, already was dealing with. So I think that was like a big piece of it. Having something like that so close, a family member coming from the war or whatever, and still suffering from, whatever may have happened years later. And, still your family, still your loved one. And you gotta, see that when that person going through the after effects. So yeah, that affected me. The violence in the inner city, PTSD, post-traumatic stress, that was affecting me. At a young age, I already was, seeing family members and different friends kind of, going to fatal, losing their life to fatal things because of the, what we say, genocide, or, the crime, that's relevant in the inner city. So, yeah, that was a lot of it. So, and then, when things aren't always perfect and things aren't right and you don't know the answers, it can really take effect on your self-esteem, your confidence. And to be honest, I was always one to be confident and I want to have a higher self-esteem, but like anybody, or anything, if time and the weight that you carry, becomes overbearing, you could have a weak moment. You could see yourself in a weak moment or a weak time span, of your life. So I think in between 5 and 10 was where, it was kind of like, it kind of really weighed on me and stuff like that. Again, I was just, I was diligent, and I was driven at a young age to, bypass it, and, I was motivated. I stayed inspired. I had the ambition, the vision, the heart, I just had it, I instilled it. I was blessed. I had other people around me that instilled it, stuff like that. So I think that was kind of like the other side of it that kind of worked in my favor. And again, siblings, parents, and relatives, friends in the neighborhood, we did what we could to definitely lift one another, keep one another, all right, in the circumstances of reality. So that was the early stages in between 5 or 10, and then again, that's just a slight breakdown. But you know, when the schools getting shut down, and the one school, one pen was getting shut down, I was in like the second, third grade, fourth grade, and you know, we couldn't figure out what that was about. We was way too young. It just was like crazy because at the same time, the neighborhood is just getting, you know, shut down, or in other words, indicted by, you know, the government and whatnot. And we seeing that, you know, 30, 40 people and all the stuff that came with it. And then, you know, the school gets shut down. And now we getting shipped here, getting shipped there, separated from our friends and stuff like that. And then, you know, that was all in between the ages of 5 and 10. And then after that, you know what I'm saying, where that was hitting hard, you know what I'm saying, as far as mental health, you know what I'm saying, self-esteem and confidence. And then, you know, in the next stage, maybe 10 to like, 16, 17, you know, it was like more of the same things going on. More schools shut down, more separation from your friends that you grew up with, relationships being broke without you even being a reason, stuff like that. And then, you know, you go from the neighborhood getting indicted, the schools getting shut down, you losing friendships, family, to the actual neighborhood getting knocked down and getting rebuilt into another development and houses that you can't even afford. So it's like all of that, you know what I'm saying? We ain't having answers for why any of that's going on, why, you know, we suffering, or you know, being in a position where it's hitting us right there in the moment, you know what I'm saying? So it was just, I think my mental health, you know, was based around a lot of that trauma, you know what I'm saying? Like PTSD from all of that kind of stuff. It was like a lot of trauma. And then, you know, again, losing loved ones, losing friends, you know, things aren't perfect, you know what I'm saying? The society is a little rough. And, you know, then we start talking about, you know, being incarcerated and stuff like that. A whole nother set of trauma. You know what I mean? So I just always think, as far as the mental health thing go, one of my things was, you know, it's just like suicide not an option. You know, I said that before. I still believe in that. You know, suicide is not an option. You know, I think it's always another avenue for a solution. You know, even in a tremendous position, you know, I just think there's always something I'd rather do than that. You know, and stuff like that. Speaking from the position of, you know, an American, for one, speaking from the position of America, for one, an American, for one, that's how I feel. It's always just another outlet, another avenue for a solution. And just speaking from someone that's been dealing with, you know, chronic trauma, you know what I'm saying, from, you know, very early stages of life, you know what I mean? And, you know, I'm not the only one, you know what I mean? Inner cities, you know what I'm saying? In the trenches, whatever you want to say, in the hood. You know, you look up and down the streets and it's 3-year-olds, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, you know what I'm saying? Very, very young and experiencing very, very chronic trauma, you know what I'm saying? Before you even know what to do, before you even know who to talk to, you know what I'm saying? All of that is already relevant, you know what I'm saying? So, That's the point of view that I'm speaking from. Somebody that's coming from something similar to those kind of circumstances. You know, your way of dealing with, you know, trauma and stuff like that may be different, or dealing with mental health may be different than somebody that's not. You know, you might have a little bit more. You might be a little bit more immune to it, so to speak. So, yeah, young, but yeah, and then again, moving forward, even as an adult, you know, we seek therapy, medications, whatever it takes. You know what I'm saying? To each his own. You know, some things work for some things don't. You know, I just think it's been a lot. It's been a lot, man, for me. You know what I'm saying, on an aspect of mental health, and you know, I think one of my biggest strengths to combat it is, you know, writing. So writing and reading, you know, I broke down so many walls on the level of mental health, you know, just through writing and reading, and you know, hopefully that could work for, you know, many other people if you know, they seek a solution or a way out. And reading or writing, I think it's a beautiful way out, a beautiful solution to a mental health problem. You know, and you gotta keep it exciting. You know what I'm saying? Because it can be boring. It could become boring and stuff like that. So, you know, I used to read. You know what I'm saying? Anything. You know what I'm saying? Not just anything, but a wide variety of different literature to, you know, just deal with whatever I might have been dealing with in the mental health space or whatnot. So that's one aspect of how I feel about mental health and stuff like that. I think you know, for athletes, when you just in the zone and it can consume you, I feel like athletes may have felt the same way. Athletes could feel the same way. You know, when you're in the streets and the streets consume you, I feel like you could feel the same way. Like, you know, anytime something's consuming you or threatening to consume you, you know, I feel like that's something that can pose as a threat to your mental health. So, at all costs, you know, stay superior sedity, find your outlets, find your solutions. If you're young, you know, sometimes in unfortunate circumstances and situations, you might just gotta push through and pull through. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta learn yourself. You know what I'm saying? You gotta give yourself a chance. You know, it's never really a right answer, and it's never really someone to give you the right answer all the time. So you gotta give yourself the chance. You gotta push and pull through. You gotta believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? And as well, I'm very, very much an advocate, you know, for God. You know what I'm saying? I think always praying, believing in God, thinking about your purpose. You know, thinking about the Creator and stuff like that, and not just thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? Moving towards it and everything like that can also help you elevate past mental health strains that you may face and whatnot. So again, I tie it all into Zero Brand. You know what I'm saying? Tie it all into, not Zero Brand. Tie it all into superior sedity. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite slogans that was created by Zero Brand Monopoly, superior sedity. So yeah, when it comes to mental health issues, my answer simply is superior sedity under all circumstances, being confident, you know, stuff like that. So yeah, young indeed. Yeah, and starting to realize you know, that you want to catch it early, especially the youth. You want to catch it early, you know. When I say youth, I'm talking about like early teens and adolescent children and stuff like that. The youth, the early teens and late teens and the adolescent children, starting in those age brackets. You want to catch it young. You want to, if you can, try to grab it and understand it while you're still that youthful. But, you know, just generally, man, understanding that part of it is very important. The part of it where it's like the mental health, it affects your physical. You know, days where your anxiety is so high or your depression is so high where you won't even eat, that's affecting your physical, you know, or your anxiety is so high and your anger so high, or, you know, if it's schizophrenia and it's going so wild, you know what I'm saying, out of control, or it's affecting your other it's affecting your, not elements, it's affecting your other body functions, you know, where, you know, you don't understand why your leg is hurting, or your back, or your shoulder, or your wrist, or your knuckles, you know. You don't understand why you can't sleep, or why you can't eat, or why you can't get up in the morning, or why you don't want to do any of those things, you know, or why you sick to your stomach half the time. You know, you won't understand those things until you really start to understand that, you know, your mental health is affecting your physical body. It's affecting your physical health. And that's why it's important, you know, to keep that in mind when you're trying to fix it. You know what I'm saying? You're trying to figure it out and fix it. You have to keep that in mind. That your mental health is that important, that it affects your physical health. And, you know, it could even affect your spiritual and emotional as well. It all coincides in one. So, yeah, I think, you know, what works for me might not work for everybody else. What works for everybody else might not work for me. But, you know, for sure, I think it's a conversation to be had, and a conversation that we all can continue to expand on, for sure. You know, being one that has suffered from mental health and, you know, has been conquering mental health, you know, I don't mind, you know, giving it back, you know what I'm saying? I don't mind, you know, helping, you know, somebody, even if it's just a little bit more of an understanding. You know, we see kids on a daily basis, you know, doing what I'm doing now. You know what I'm saying? We see kids on a daily basis scratching their head. They don't know the answers, you know. Parents, you feel me? Parents don't always know the answer, you know what I'm saying? Who's to say they're right or wrong? Parents don't always know the answer. Teachers don't. Therapists don't, you know what I'm saying? So that's why, you know, the conversation is just one to be continually expanded. You know, it's a lot of experts and doctors out here that helped me get to where I am today, and I definitely appreciate it, and stuff like that. So I think far as it go, you definitely have to find the best route to conquer it, you know what I'm saying, or to be able to balance it, control it, and so on and so forth. You know what I'm saying? Like tonight, today, this morning, you know what I'm saying, depending on where you are in the world, you know, I just wanted to have that moment of talking about mental health, you know. Mental health has mental health has put a lot of people on the edge. You know, it has a lot of people on the edge. You know, due to mental health, I've been one of those people on the edge, you know, and it's not a fun place to be. And, you know, it's one of those things, you know, where I think mental health is just, I think when you're going through a moment of a negative spiral based on your mental health, I think it just starts at confusion. You know, I think it starts at confusion. So that's why, you know, you might find yourself, you might find someone else on the edge because, you know, a mental health spiral and a downward, negative downward spiral, it just starts with confusion. Whether you're depressed, whether you're dealing with anxiety, whether you're dealing with schizophrenia, whether it's PTSD, whether it's ADHD or anything, or one of those other ones, you know what I'm saying? One of those other things that you might get diagnosed for, or somebody may be diagnosed for, it just starts with confusion. You know, self-hatred, you know, lack of self-love, you know, lack of self-esteem, all of those things. It starts with confusion. So I think the trauma that you may experience, that somebody could experience, you know, it puts them in a state of confusion, and it just comes from a different view. It comes from not a different view, it comes from a different aspect of mental health. For instance, somebody might have a traumatic experience, you know, a family member returned from serving in the military, you know, witnessing this family member returning from the military with a drug habit or with another state of mind, another, you know, characteristic, you know, stuff like that. The impact of it, you know, might make one person, you know, go through a downward mental health spiral where they're depressed. And it just starts from confusion. Because they might not understand it. They might not understand how to deal with that. But now they're going through a mental health downward spiral in the form of depression. You know? So that's just one example. Another example is you get somebody, they might break their arm, break their leg, break their neck, God forbid. Who knows? And, you know, just the trauma of the experience, you know, could and send them in a downward mental health spiral in the form of lack of self-esteem, you know? So it's just like it can come in many forms, many ways. I just think because of the traumatic experience, it can lead to confusion. And that confusion can project itself in multiple ways, like I was saying. An eating disorder, schizophrenia, depression, anxiety, PTSD, you know, ADHD, or any one of those type of forms of a mental health issue. You know what I'm saying? Anger, overly angry, overly aggressive, passive aggressive, stuff like that. Any one of those forms, it can come from a traumatic experience or many, and you know, it might just cause confusion that might project itself in multiple forms. If not one, it could be multiple, and that's, you know, something that must be monitored. You know, you must monitor that for yourself. You must monitor that for your peers, and if possible, find that point of confusion. You know what I'm saying? That would be my advice for anybody that may have a mental health crisis or a mental health problem, you know, that they might be dealing with. And some people deal with it internally and don't share it, you know what I'm saying? Or it's not affecting them as much as it might be for the next. But again, my advice would be that find the trauma, figure out what it is that caused it, and as well, the next step would be figure out why. Figure out why is bringing you confusion in whatever form you're experiencing. Like a two-step piece of advice I would give. You know, figure out what's causing you trauma. 9 times out of 10, that's easy to identify. And identify the trauma, and then identify why it's causing you to be in a confused state that is projecting itself in one of the many forms or one form of, you know, a discomfort mentally. Yeah, your own, indeed. Yeah, ZBM. You know, I also want to touch on voting. Now, my opinion of voting is, I think it's very important. I think it's impactful. I think it's necessary, and especially for the youth to get into it, understand why they should do it, and you know, understand the effects if you don't, and whatnot, and as well, if you choose not to, understand why you're not going to, or why you don't want to. You know, I think that's important. I think it's important to, you know, now looking back, you know, as a 20-year-old or 21-year-old, you know, it's very important to see and understand, you know, the mayor that's being voted, the congressmen that's being voted, the president, you know what I'm saying, and stuff like that. So all of those positions, the governor and whatnot, is all very important, you know what I'm saying, for every single individual, and not just for the bigger structure of America, you know. So, you know, growing up, and you know, sometimes I've been guilty of, I've been one to do it, you know what I'm saying? Like, think of the situation as it doesn't affect me. I shouldn't worry about it. I shouldn't have to worry about it. It doesn't affect me. Stuff like that. In reality, I mean, it do. And then and not even whether it's necessarily going to affect you directly or not. It's just a point of, you know, stand up. You know what I'm saying? You know, make yourself known. You know what I mean? Like and stuff like that. You know, make your presence felt and stuff like that is important. That's those kind of important reasons why I think voting is a good idea. And you know, just because, you know, you have a right to vote, you know what I'm saying? Courtesy of the Bill of Rights, Constitution, and all of those things. So, you know, just making yourself known, making your presence known, you know, like you are here, you know what I'm saying, is important. You know, your opinion matters. You know what I'm saying? Whether you know a lot about this person or you don't, or if you care about this person, objectives or intentions, or you don't, just making yourself known is, you know, uh, basically the same difference as you're claiming your power. You know what I'm saying? You're taking your power. So that's why I think voting is actually important. You know, I have voted quite a few times, and I even voted for Hillary Clinton before when she ran for president. You know, I think that was I think that was a good idea for me. You know what I'm saying? I like that concept of a woman being the actual president. I'm not sexist. I don't think it was a bad idea. You know what I'm saying? To imagine a woman being president and whatnot. And, you know, as far as the actual person that you're voting for, doing the homework on that person and learning more about, you know, what their core values is, their core mission, and, you know, where they are trying to direct or lead, you know, the country as far as the laws and, you know, the bills that will be passed, and how will all of that stuff affect you, your neighborhood, your community, your city, and your state. You know, that's just up to you if you're gonna get into that detail. You know, but yeah, you know, in the past, that's something I haven't done personally a lot of, and you know, maybe I got a valid excuse, maybe I don't. Maybe other people do, maybe other people don't. But again, you know, it's 2024. My point of view is whether you're gonna vote or not is all right. It's up to you. I think it's a good idea, if anything. But at the same time, I totally understand if somebody chooses not to vote and whatnot. So, but you know, and I only say it's a good idea to vote because again, it's in my eyes, I think it's just a point of, you know, you making yourself known, making your presence known, and taking a piece of your power and stuff like that. So, you know, if you want to participate from that point of view, I think it's a good idea. If you ain't participating from that point of view, or you don't feel like it's necessary, you know, at whatever time frame you might be voting, or you might have to vote, or you know, it might be time to vote, so to speak, then you know, I don't see nothing wrong with that neither. You know what I'm saying? Or whatnot. So yeah, I just want to speak on voting, taking advantage of your rights, and you know, claiming your power. I think it's important and stuff like that. So yeah, your own zero brand, no bending. You already know what's going on. You know, and we all pushing positivity, man. You know what I'm saying? Motivation, inspiration, and you know, we still zero-cated. You know what I'm saying? Supremely motivated, you know what I'm saying, is what I call being zero-cated. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I you know, started creating my own terms. You know what I'm saying? You know, again, just monopolizing everything that consists of zero-brand monopoly. So when I say zero-cated, that's just me saying I'm supremely motivated. You know what I'm saying? When I say superior sedity, you know what I'm saying? That just means I'm confident under all circumstances. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, and all that. No bending.